Now, we've looked at how you get data from a variety of different sources, but before you now start preparing your data in terms of transforming that data, you really should profile your data. And I would say start by studying your data to find out if there's any anomalies and just understand the statistics that go with your data. So I'm in Power BI, and if I go to transform data, there's some tools I can use within the Power Query editor. I'm going to start by clicking on sales 2019 to 2020. And if I go to view, I've got some options here that I can data preview with. Now I'm going to start with column quality. If I tick this option here, then I get some information at the top of each column. I'm told how much of the data is valid in terms of a percentage. 100% valid for country and region, 100% valid for brand, 100% for month. No errors and no empty cells. But when it comes to the years, sales 2019, sales 2020, and sales 2021, there are varying percentages of valid data. Now, the difference between 100 and what's valid is not in the form of an error, it's in the form of empty cells. So 21% of the cells in sales 2019 are empty, and 30% more, 30% that is more cells are empty in sales 2019, 2020, and there are even more empty cells in the sales 2021 column. So look at the statistics in terms of the quality of the data before you start transforming. Now, besides also seeing the quality of the data, so let me just take that away, let's look at column distribution. Now, column distribution gives you some information about the data as well, in terms of how many distinct and how many unique values. Now, distinct basically means that the total number of different values, that's the total number of different values, whereas regardless of how many times they appear. So in country, there are a total of 3 countries, and the unique values means the number of values that appear only once. So, for example, there are no unique values in country and region. Those 3 countries will appear multiple times. And the same with brand. There are 13 brands, but not any one of them only appears once. And there's 12 months, and none of them are unique. Whereas if you get to the sales column, sales 2019, for example, there are 286 distinct entries, and 271 of them are unique and only appear once. So if we do the maths, 286 minus 271 is basically 15. 15 values do not appear once. 271 of them do. So I hope that makes sense. So you can check the column distribution as well, and then I'll take that option off. The other thing I want to have a look at is the column profile. So if we go for column profile, what we end up with is some statistics at the bottom here. And because I have country region selected, they pertain to country region. So those 3 distinct, not unique values that we saw in the column distribution are United States, China, and Germany. And as far as the number of records in the column country, there's 382. 0 have errors, 0 are empty, 3 of them are distinct, no unique values, no empty strings. The minimum is China, that's just because it begins with the letter C, and the maximum is United States because it begins with the letter U. Whereas if I went to sales 2021, I would have quite different statistics. The smallest sales figure is 69.86, that's not including zeros, and the largest is 37495.86. The average and the standard deviation is mentioned as well. So we can get statistics pertaining, and we can copy those statistics as well, and we can also copy this graph here as well, and we can also group this graph by certain things, sign being positive or negative. So do check your data quality, your data profile and distribution before you start transforming your data. Understand your data first of all. So I'm just going to go back to home, and that is the profiling done.